Okay, what's going on, everybody? We're here, we're live. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you very much also to Arlene Foster for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that. You can all become a channel member for as little as $3 a month, and you'll get member exclusive videos and things of that nature on today's show. Now, I'm going to be very quick with this one today. I say that all the time, but I actually really got to get this show done with today. I want to apologize ahead of time. I know I don't need to because most of you don't care to actually look at me, but because that's kind of the standard that I've set for myself on the Friday shows, I want to apologize for not having the camera up and things like that. Today's been a very rainy day in LA. Though I do have lighting, I do rely heavily on the natural light to be the main source of my light alongside with the regular lighting, with the lighting that I do have to make a good quality high definition video. So since the weather isn't cooperating today, I said I'll just do audio only. But like I said, the majority of this audience is male anyway, so I'm sure you don't really care to look at me. So anyways, let's carry on today's show, right? So today I want to talk about are we watching the rise of the new Minstrel show, right? That's what today's topic is about. You know, a lot of people have been talking a lot recently about this guy right here that you see on your screen, Big Groove. There's another brother that we're going to get into who's somewhat similar but is a bit more extreme, you know, with what he does, named YuddyGang, I believe it is. And a lot of people listening to this, you know, there might be people that are fans of these people that may come across this video. And here's what you got to understand with this topic and what I'm getting ready to discuss, right? You know, for Black Americans, there is a very, very, very thin line between being funny and being an outright tap dancing Sambo, right? There is a very, very thin line between those two things, you know, and the reason that there's such a thin line is because of the anti-Black history of minstrel shows, blackface, and, you know, actors like Step and Fetch It. That's why that line is so thin. That's why it's really easy if you Black and you're trying to do comedy, you might find yourself like, you know, getting heavily criticized for being like, you know, a tap dancing Sambo, because that line is very, very thin, given the history of entertainment and Black Americans in this country, right? You know, and with that, you know, you have to understand that this conversation also, right? This conversation that I'm having today, it isn't anything new. It really isn't a new conversation at all. This conversation that we're going to have today is a conversation that's been going on. It's been happening for a long time. The only difference now is that these conversations are happening on YouTube and social media, right? So now these conversations are being magnified times 10 because of these social media platforms. But when I say these conversations have been happening for a long time, it's just the fact of the matter, especially with my personal upbringing. I had a good friend of mine's. He's passed away now, but he's you know, he was up in age, right? But it was an older brother. His name was Herc, and this was about maybe 15 years ago when I first moved to LA. When I met him, and we were really good friends. And I remember back then, he couldn't stand Dave Chappelle. He hated Dave Chappelle. Now, mind you, he was a, you know, quote, old head, right? And one of the reasons that he couldn't stand Dave Chappelle is because he felt like Dave Chappelle was a modern Step and Fetch It during the Chappelle Show era. He couldn't stand it. You know, my 19, 20-year-old self at the time, you know, I didn't really see where he was coming from with it. You know, I thought that, oh, you tripping. The same way people might watch this video and think, oh, you tripping, you're doing too much, you know? But he would tell me, man, all he's doing is engaging in these crazy stereotypes for white people and making them laugh. And he couldn't stand them. And what's funny is that eventually Chappelle, to a degree, came around to that same understanding. If you watch his Oprah Winfrey interview that he did, where he discussed why he left the Chappelle show, one of the things and one of the reasons that he left the Chappelle show is because I believe he was doing a blackface skit And there was a white guy on set who was laughing way too hard. And he said this time the laughter was different. He knew that this guy wasn't laughing for the same reason that everybody else is laughing. And that was kind of his awakening moment to when he realized, this maybe isn't the move anymore. Now, there were other factors that played in as well, but that was one of the reasons that he walked away from the Chappelle show, you know? But that was the main reason that, my guy Hurt couldn't stand him, you know? And also, too, I had a really good friend of mine who's he's still alive, but he's the same age as me. And, we talk all the time, right? That I grew up with. And mind you, we were teenagers when me and my friend had this discussion, way back when, I'm talking about like 15, 14, 15, 16. And my friend, he couldn't stand Chris Tucker. He didn't think Chris Tucker was funny at all. He thought Chris Tucker was wildly ignorant, buffoonish, and made black folks look bad. He didn't find him humorous. All that like all that stuff that Chris Tucker was on, he couldn't stand it. He despised it. He thought it was buffoonish. So I say all that to say, once again, this isn't a new conversation. These conversations between a thin line of being funny and being a sample has always been going on. Always, always, always. It's just that now these conversations are happening on social media and they're being magnified times 10. So now the guy that you're looking at right now, right? This is Big Groove. And it's in between him and the YuddyGangtv guy that these conversations are happening around. I'll just show you a couple clips of Big Groove. I'm not going to play the audio for these because there tends to be like a lot of music playing in his videos all the time because he's in these restaurants. But this is just like some of the stuff that, this guy does. He'll bite into some food, extra exaggerated. He's getting mustard or mayo poured in his mouth right now. And you see there's nothing but white folks in there. And now he's dropping it like it's hot. He's popping it. He's twerking it, got the booty shorts on. And when you go through his Instagram page or his TikTok page, and you just kind of randomly look through his videos, you see this a lot. I'm not saying that it's exclusively white folks that get into it, right? But when you just randomly click through a lot of the videos that are on his page, you'll see most times than not, people are kind of thrown off because they're just trying to eat their food. And they're like, yo, what is this big dude doing? But almost every time when the surrounding audience, you can say, gets into it, right? They weren't expecting this big giant man to start dancing like this and biting into stacks of pancakes, making a mess all over his face and shimmering with his eyes rolled back behind his head. They weren't expecting it, but then they get super into it. Like how you see, like on this video that I played for you right here. It's always non-black people that love to see when this brother pops up and starts pop locking and dropping it like it's hot, And here's just a couple more other videos, just so for those of you who aren't familiar with him, to be familiar with him, this is what he does. You know what I mean? Now, to be honest with you, as far as this brother's concerned, the Big Groove brother, I've never necessarily had that big of an issue with him. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But how I always saw him, is kind of more of a modern Terry Crews, because Terry Crews is like the original super buff dude that was running around out here dancing and flexing his pectoral muscles and everything like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of always how I saw him. But once again, remember what I was saying earlier? Here's a group of Asian folks. They love it. They're all into it. You just saw a minute ago with some white folks. Now you see it's some Asian folks. And I want to be fair. I am not saying that black folks don't get into it when he does this in public, because you'll find videos of them getting into it. But it's mainly non-black people that go crazy when they see this dude hopping and jumping around and dancing like this and being silly. You know what I mean? And when you see this type of stuff, you can't tell me that the correlation isn't there in between what he's doing and what you're gonna see this brother doing, YuddyGang doing, and what was happening back in the day, right? Concerning minstrel shows and whatnot. Let me zoom in on here to make sure you guys can see this. But you can't tell me that there isn't a connection there. You can't tell me that there isn't a correlation there. A lot of it is all the same. It's almost very much so the same, especially when we're talking about, once again, white folks being the one that seem to be, or non-black people in general being the ones that seem to be super, super duper into this kind of stuff. Because when you look at the kind of following that these brothers have, you know, YuddyGangtv has 6.1 million followers. And before I even start talking more on him, I'm just going to play you a couple clips so you can see this guy and what he's all about. And he's this brother's a trip. This brother is very much so like on his step and fetch it. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. This brother's very much so on his step and fetch it grind. So let me play a couple clips for you guys so you can see what he's all about. All right, here goes another one.
If you don't zip it,
I mean, this is the serious step and fetch it energy going on with old boy over here. And I'm gonna give y'all one more, and then I'll stop torturing you after this.
listen, we at 5th Street Burgers and Fries. Now listen, I don't know if y'all know, but we got that cheesy cheese. Let's eat.
Yeah, Tone 45. FU2. This is crazy. It's crazy. And I saw somebody put in the comment section, I bet their followers are all white, right? And that's what I was going to get into next. You know, not so much so that their followers are all white, but their followers are, you know, largely white, but non-black. Because you got to understand, you don't go mainstream like on this level without having a large non-black following. Once again, the YuddyTV brother, he has 6.1 million followers. And Black Logic, I appreciate the support, brother. And I thank you very much for always coming through. Thank you, bro. I appreciate your subscription, but and your contribution. Obviously, always showing love. I appreciate you, brother. But YuddyGangtv has 6.1 million followers. Big Groove has 713,000 followers, right? You don't get that many followers. You don't do that without, and you don't break through on a mainstream level without having your follower base now being majority non-black. That's just a fact. You can't become mainstream unless you have a majority non-black following. It is extremely hard for your following to be that large, and it's all black people. It's majority black, especially if this is the kind of content that you're doing. Because like I said, these conversations surrounding the thin line, right, between being a tap dancing Sambo and being funny, that line is so thin. And you're gonna have some black folks that think, oh man, it's funny and what's the big deal? You know, they're just having a good time. But then you're gonna have a lot more others that say, no, this ain't just a good time, man. This is some of this action right here. This is some of that famous minstrel show action. That's what this is, and that's how a lot of people feel about it. And you know, for Black Americans that feel that way, they are entitled to feel that way. They have a right to feel that way. You know, you can't tell them not to. And that's kind of the one thing that trips me out is when, you know, Black Americans express their frustrations concerning this and their displeasure, and people are telling Black folks, oh, well, you don't have the right to be upset. Just shut up. It's all fun and game. They're just playing. It's just entertainment, you know, because when it comes to, you know, them folks, and we all know who them folks is, don't nobody play with them. Nobody plays with them folks. And we all know who them folks is, you know, but when it comes to Black folks, everybody's allowed to play with you, and you just got to shut up, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Just be quiet. And now to go over to the next segment to really speak on what I wanted to speak on before I round everything out is one of those people that kind of did that was Cardi B. Now, I don't believe she had like super malicious intentions when she put her video out there. I think her intentions were pure to be kind of like a bridge, between people that don't like this kind of entertainment and for those that do. But nonetheless, it's irrelevant because at the end of the day, she's not black. She's Hispanic. And she's telling other black people that they got to stop having a crabs in a bucket mentality. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna play a little bit of what Cardi had to say. A lot of you have seen this clip already. Then I want to address it because there's something very specific that she touched on that I want to highlight.
Guys that like they go to restaurants and they act like a complete fool. I don't know what's his name. He's really brolic and he be dancing all crazy. And then there's the other one that he just do too much for me. So I've been seeing petitions for people to ban them on social media and everything. And I feel like I'm gonna get dragged because I don't have and I feel like I'm gonna get dragged because I don't have the popular opinion because they have a community supporting them. And every single time that somebody's doing the same thing from the fucking community, y'all wanna bring them out, do petitions to get. They are not doing anything wrong, but being cheesy and corny. I'd rather they become rich. Look how Jake Paul became rich. Jake Paul used to do the most corniest content ever. His content was so corny and cringy. I never found it amusing. But guess what? The kids found it amusing.
Right. So I don't know that's the whole thing wasn't in there. I'm so mad it cut off early. Right. But I want to address what she said right then and there about Jake Paul. No, I'm so mad. No, hold on. I gotta find the full version. I mean, technically it's a cut up version, but I gotta find the fuller, like, complete version. Give me just a second. I'm about to pull it up for you guys right now. I'm just gonna go on Twitter real quick and pull it up. But as it pertains to, Jake Paul, and him being corny and he did really corny things and, look where that got him. He doesn't do that anymore. Now he's a multimillionaire doing big things. The big difference is that, like, he wasn't teetering any lines between, negative racial stereotypes of anybody, right? He wasn't playing along those lines. But like I said, when it comes to, comedy and stuff like that, and when it comes to the kind of behavior that these gentlemen are engaging in, you know, that's not the same thing as what Jake Paul was doing at all. On no level is that the same thing as what Jake Paul was doing. You know what I mean? Jake Paul was just being silly and goofy. These guys, and especially when you're talking about Yudi Gang, that's step and fetch it behavior. Point blank, period. That's all that is. Here, give me just a second. I think I found the video. Okay, I can't. It's not. I don't know why I'm not seeing the whole thing, but I'll just tell you guys what she said. Also, what she continued on to say is that, what do you want these guys to do, and what do you want these guys to be? You want them to be hood ninjas? That's what she said. You want them to be hood ninjas? And the thing that is so irritating to me and unsettling to me is when I hear that is, why are the only options when we're talking about black folks? Why are the only options either being a complete, just Mr. Bojangles? You got to be Mr. Bojangles, or you got to be a hood ninja. It's one or the other. You got to be one of those two. You're either a hood ninja or you're Mr. Bojangles. Why can't it be that you be a black man that conducts yourself, with integrity and still be funny, like a Dave Chappelle, right? Or like what he became. And I appreciate the support you just showed, Insane Optimist. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Insane Optimist said, so what, Step and Fetch It had supporters, but that doesn't mean his behavior was acceptable. Exactly. Yeah. Step and Fetch It had supporters doesn't mean that his behavior was acceptable. I 100% agree with you. You know what I mean? I 100% agree. And like I said, I'm so mad that I don't have the full clip of Cardi B actually saying, "What do you want them to be? You want them to be hood ninjas?" That's what she said. You know, and a lot of you have seen that clip already, so you know that I'm telling the truth. You know, but I despise that. I despise that comment, that remark, that you either have to be a complete buffoon, Mr. Bojangles, or you can be a hood ninja. But to be an upright, standing black man with integrity who creates content, that's not even on the table. It's not on the table at all. But there are many of us who do it every day, right? And I'm one of them. Some of you may be familiar with my old content that I used to do on this channel. And the content that I used to do on this channel, hence this channel is called TD Hip Hop Media, right? I used to, do commentary over hip hop videos, right? Over things that were happening in hip hop. It was basically like, DJ academics, but it was a comedy skit kind of stuff. But what happened was, as the channel began to grow, because I hit a growth spurt where a couple of my videos went viral, I was getting a lot of subscribers. The same thing that dawned on Dave Chappelle had dawned on me. And this was one of two reasons why I switched up my content, was that I started getting a whole bunch of non-black subscribers, which there's nothing wrong with. And just in general, if you're just doing content, yeah, you have any subscribers if you want, not black, it don't matter. You know what I mean? But I was getting a whole bunch of non-black subscribers who were laughing for all the wrong reasons. They were listening to my content while I'm going in on rappers, talking about how dumb and stupid they are. Look at how buffoonish they are. Oh man, you can't give ninjas money. Look at what you do. I was saying stuff like that. Oh man, you can't look what you do when you give black folks some money. Oh man, ha 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 ha, all that kind of stuff. And then I'd have white folks in the comment section talking about some. Oh man, I could never get away with saying this kind of stuff. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. What do you mean you can't get away with saying this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? What do you mean? And it hit me like, damn, okay, this isn't really translating the way that I wanted this to translate. Because it's different when you're just talking to your folks and you're cracking jokes and you're saying silly stuff, and you could even be bugging your eyes a little bit. When it's all in the family, then it's all in the family, and it's funny. And it's just whatever. It is what it is. You just talking your talk, and we all just cracking up and laughing and whatever. You know what I mean? But when other folks come into the mix, they're not seeing the same thing that we seeing, right? When the channel was smaller, they're not laughing at the same stuff that we were laughing at. They're laughing at something different. So just like the same understanding that Chappelle had came to, the same understanding that I came to. And then I changed the channel up, And if you want to watch those videos, if I may put a little shameless plug in concerning the channel membership, those videos are on private now, but I do have a few of them on the a membership too. So if you did want to see those old videos of me, I wasn't bug dancing now, you know what I mean? But I was extra, I was the profanity was on 10,000. Every other word was N-word this and F that. And I was doing too much, talking too much, calling people outside of their names, the complete polar opposite of who to be TD now. You know what I mean? I had to switch that up because it just wasn't right. It wasn't right. And I came to the understanding it wasn't right. And I changed, right? When the truth was presented to me, I changed. So the notion that that's just like a non-starter. you just can't be an upright black man and do something good with yourself. It's just BS. But that's how this stuff is presented to you. You know what I mean? You either got to be a buffoon or you got to be a hood ninja. And I want to give you guys another example really quick of a brother who he's been around for a long time now on YouTube. And some of you might know him. My cousin put me onto him like way back in the day, like almost 10 years ago, right? And this is him right here. His name is Dame Drops. He does food reviews, right? He's been doing these food reviews for like I said, it's been over a decade at this point. And when my cousin put me on the Dame Drops, back in like I think he put me on a Dame Drops like in 2014, something like that. You know what I mean? The guy was hilarious. He's doing food reviews, and as he's doing the food reviews, he was hilarious. This video right here, I recommend you guys go and you watch this video. It's called Five Guys Burgers and Fries Reviews. That was the video that that he took out, that had him, that was the video that caused, oh my god, that was the video that blew up. What the heck is wrong with me? That was the video that blew him up. Lord have mercy. I can't talk right now. That was the video that blew him up. And that was the video that my cousin showed me like almost a decade ago. And here's the thing. He's being really silly. He's being very jokey. I'm not gonna act like, you know, he don't buck his eye a little bit. He a little eye bucking. You know what I'm saying? He did a little eye, but he'll do a little eye bucking every now and then. But like I said, there's a very thin line in between being an outright Sambo and being genuinely funny. And when you watch his videos, he's genuinely funny. Amidst the silly stuff, amidst him being like really silly, he's actually delivering a food review. He's actually breaking down the burger. He's actually breaking down the fries and the chicken. This guy goes to restaurants and he's actually breaking down. Like, the brother's actually talented. He's actually delivering a proper and really good, reputable food review while being funny at the same time, but not crossing that line of being an outright Sambo. You get what I'm saying? You'll never watch any of his videos and think to yourself, step and fetch it. It's not gonna happen, you know? Now, like I said, that line is thin and he could easily fall over there, but he never does, and he never did. And to this very day, like, you know, I'm not going to act like I haven't watched his videos in a long time, but I was thinking about it recently. I used to watch him heavy, though, when my cousin introduced me to him. When I just seen the comment, Devontae, Dame Drops is hilarious. Dame Drops is hilarious. He was hilarious. Like, all them videos from like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I'd say when he was in his prime doing his thing, like when he had first blew up, Dame Drops was hilarious. And he was able to be hilarious without being a tap dancing Sambo. Right? So you can't tell me that it can't be done. I did it. Dame Drops did it. Right? But the only thing that people seem to want to highlight is this type of stuff.
Listen, we at 5th Street Burgers and Fries. Now listen, I don't know if y'all know, but we got that cheesy cheese. Let's eat.
You know what I mean? Like, that seems to be the only thing that people want to talk about. Stop talking about me. You're not the real Yuddy Gang. That's funny. I guess you're a Yuddy Gang fan. If you are, I'm not mad at you. I mean, it is what it is, but I know you're not really him. Oh man. But that seems to be the thing that everybody wants to highlight and defend, is this type of behavior. And I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. You think it's not a big deal, I guess you think it's not a big deal. I don't know. I guess that's on you. But in my opinion and how I feel about it, especially as an adult, you know, or older, or a little bit more mature, you know, from what I was when I had the conversation with, you know, my OG Herc, right, from 15 years ago, when he was explaining to me why he didn't like Dave Chappelle. You know, I get it now. And I'm not going to front like if I watch a Dave Chappelle Chappelle show episode, I wouldn't laugh at it. You get what I'm saying? I'd laugh at it because, you know, I guess it was funny or whatever. But, you know, I get it. I understand, you know, Herc's position from way back then. You know what I mean? And like I said, even Chappelle understands Herc's position from way back then, because Chappelle did a complete 180. And now he does now the joke's on you all, right? Before the jokes with Dave Chappelle, before the jokes were on us, it was on his own people, right? But then he realized, hey, you know what? This isn't the move. I can't do this no more. And then he flipped around and Now the joke's on everybody else. Same thing that I did with this channel, right? I was on some, teetering that line a little bit. I was teetering, I was almost there. I didn't cross it completely. My videos was funny. All right. But like Chappelle, it was like, oh man, nah, this ain't the move. This ain't the move. You know what I mean? And it is more than possible to be funny, hilarious, and entertaining, and still be an upright, standing black man with integrity. You get what I'm saying? People do it every day. So with all that being said, that does it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's live stream. And I want to thank all of you who supported the show today. You know what I mean? Shout out to Black Logic as usual. That brother always comes through. Thank you very much. Shout out to Seeking the Truth Ministry for joining channel membership. Seeking the Truth Ministry. If you want to watch those videos of me, teetering that line, it's, now that you're a channel member, you can watch those videos. And shout out to everybody who showed love on today's stream. Please make sure you hit the like button. Do that for me, and make sure you share this video, because I think this conversation is definitely important. And also too, I'm very tempted before I leave out of here to do like almost like a mini documentary on this, because I don't think you guys know, like I just kind of did this on the fly, but like I'm holding back a lot. It's like really a lot to unpack, but I'm short on time, and there's a lot. I can do a lot with this, and I'm very tempted to actually make a mini documentary concerning this, because man, this is, I think it's just a conversation that needs to be had, and it needs to continue to be had, because people need to know, like, hey, be careful crossing that line. Respect the history, respect the past, respect what has been done, to Black Americans and all that kind of stuff, the same way you respect them folks, right? You respect them folks, but you don't respect Black folks in America. Oh, okay. I see what it is. DB, Mike, the Cash App is scrolling on the bottom. It's $tdhiphop, $tdhiphop. If you wanted to, hit the Cash App. I guess you're just promoting it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next go around. And we got shout out to YuddyGang 2.0. Great show, TD. Thanks for highlighting me. Can I come back to visit? Yeah, maybe you might be coming back to visit. You might be coming back. Hit that like button on the way out. Thank you for everybody who contributed to today's show. Share this on your social media, and I will catch you guys next Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or y'all know me, anywhere between 1 p.m. and 1:30. I'm going live every Friday, Pacific Standard Time. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace. I had to do it. I got to do it to you one more time. I'm sorry. I got to.
Listen, we at 5th Street Burgers and Fries. Now listen, I don't know if y'all know, but we got that cheesy cheese.